the show tonight. What's going on, fellas? How are you guys doing? Happy Labor Day.
Doing good. It's good to have Dean here on the show. Have him talk about his little website he's made. Me and Brett have obviously plugged it a little bit the last few episodes, so nice to have him come on here and actually show people.
Yeah, we are probably like a week away from launching it. We've had more like security issues. Like we wanted to like make sure like the security issues are safe. So like because the idea is you're gonna be making accounts and there's like a free version, a basic version, a pro version. So like figuring out all like the payments and stuff like that. That baseball side of it is kind of ready to roll. But we just want to make sure like when users create accounts that all their information and payments and whatnot are secure. And that's where my friend who's a software engineer definitely comes way more into play because without him, wouldn't be able to do that. But I'll just real quick before we jump into like regular baseball, like share my screen and just show kind of some of what we're doing. And we have a lot of other things that we're working on within it. But my favorite thing, and I think Brett, I know you've said you like these. Hey, I think you said as well, is like just these player cards are so much fun because I think that everyone does players cards on now on Twitter, and like frankly a lot of them are very like confusing when you see that. At least I feel like they're confusing, and like the text is very small, and like honestly I don't think they're like very like inviting to more of like the common baseball fan who's looking sometimes for just like the simple like percentiles or like this spider chart, for example, especially if like you're into like video games, Madden, whatever it might be, like you're gonna see these spider charts all the time. So one thing that we've done is kind of create this, and we're still kind of like tweaking it, but I think we're pretty close to where we want to be. We've also got like non-qualified hitters. So if you go here, we can go look like Roman Anthony, and we take away the percentiles for that. We're going to fix that on the right side because they don't really rank yet. Now, Roman Anthony does rank on Savant, but he's not on Fangraphs yet, and we pull all our information from Fangraphs. So we have that. We have our leaders maker, right? Same deal. You can do that. But what I love is like these team primary ones where it kind of just like gives you like the team logos. I think these look like, I mean, I think they look great. So this and the player card are probably my favorite, but same deal. You can do unqualified. You could also do career. So you could do active career and look at that. And you could also do career all time. Now, this is one thing where we're adding like kind of like MLB logos. So that will be up soon where you can like see like Babe Ruth. And we'll have like, I think we're going to like an MLB logo and like a Cooperstown logo. Compare players, same deal. So we go like Andrew McCutchen and Justin Turner career, and we can look at that head to head, and you can select like any stats you want kind of here. Big thing that I love that we have is like we put B WAR and F WAR in. So what I've been doing for a lot of these is like adding B WAR and F WAR into the comparisons because people like to see those. Custom top tens. So say you want to do like top 10 rookies in the last week or whatever it might be, you can build that all out right here on this page. Overall rating, this is just like a little like thing that my friend Scott did where he compiles a certain amount of stats and does like a 0 to 100 rating similar to like MLB The Show. It leans very pitcher heavy right now, so we're kind of tweaking that, but same idea. I just love how Aroldis Chapman is so high. So that's why I shared this graphic the other day. And then the last thing, and like this was kind of like the motivating factor behind this website is creating your own analytics. So anyone can come in, you can use our chatbot to do it. So you can like type in like kind of what you're looking for. So say like this, just as an easy example, AI will kind of analyze it and then give us some stats. So this is just super simple. And then you kind of have all this information that is put out, right? I prefer just to create my own stat. So I go to Formula Builder, I go to batter, and I just start to take these. You do the equations yourself, and you can kind of put whatever you want, and then picking what's normal, how you want to normalize it, how you want to rank it, and all that. So this is again pretty much done. Um, we have like fun little games similar to like what is it that Baseball Reference does? Immaculate Grid, right?
Dude, this
Similar
Yeah,
to,
they
like,
make.
this is awesome.
yeah.
Like, this might be the best baseball website I've ever seen aesthetically. And you know me,
Yeah.
I'm nitpicky. I'm super OCD, Hagen. Like, things have to be a certain way, and I'm user friendly. I'm dumb. I like Apple products for that reason. This is awesome.
I mean,
so
even
was
like the
kinda
graph,
idea.
the updates you made on this last one, I think it was within the last week when you started putting the team logos in there, fixed the formatting a little bit. It's looked a lot better on those as well.
Yeah, like that, and that's like so. I'll be honest. Like this is like you have to like be a paid version to get this because this is like it used a lot of tokens to make this, but also this is sick, and like I'm not gonna just give this out totally for free. But like these you could do for free, and they're still pretty good looking, and you can do dark mode, light mode, and you can change the coloring, right? And I think just like as a hey, I want to put out a quick top 10. This does still look good. Obviously, this looks way better, which is kind of the idea. And I love like the career active and all the stuff that we've added. But yeah, so like I put out a Roman Anthony, Nick Kurtz one of this yesterday, and it like banged on Twitter. So like I'm super excited. I'm super excited for like obviously you guys are gonna have like pro accounts to use on this, and kind of share whatever you want. But I think one for us, like it's a great way to just make more content, like in a like very quickly. Uh, but I think just for, like the common, like I think of like me and Brett and Hagen, you as well. But like me and Brett, like 3 years ago, when we're like jumping into kind of like this baseball content creation type stuff, uh, it was really difficult. And like we don't have a graphic designs background, but we have like I think interesting brains and good ideas, and like sometimes it's really difficult when you don't have that like graphic design and whatnot background to make these, but you can still come up with great ideas. And I think particularly like I have it up here, like the custom top 10. Like I love being able to be like just a weird stat that one of us comes up with and be like, well, who are the top 10 players in July that are rookies, like all that type of stuff. And we're gonna add a chat feature soon where you can like type in kind of what your thought is, and it will tell you like what stat you should do. But yeah, like long story short, like this has been a lot of fun, and it all kind of like snowballed from me creating that BBI analytic in the spring. And the main reason I've like put a lot of time into it is because I do think like us here, the three of us at like on the podcast, are going to be able to use this in a very beneficial way going forward. And I think it shows in like the posts that I've put out recently. It's just easy engagement, and it's fun and it's cool for like the people that follow us. So yeah,
Dude, you already got put into publication. I sent that to you earlier.
yeah.
Fantasy Six Pack was using your tweet.
Yeah, and like that, like, and the goal is again, like to be able to put, I don't have it up right now, but to be able to put like logos or like if you're paying for it, which again you guys won't have to, you'll have a pro version, to be able to put your own logo kind of in it. Hagen, you don't really have like you'll be able to put like Hagen on the bottom, whatever you want to put. So I think that's helpful too for young creators. Like the idea for this is really not to like obviously there's like a wanting to make money aspect for sure. But we have like other things that we're working on where I think it would make more money. I think for this, it's my passion for it is really just other creators who have really good ideas and want to kind of break into this baseball space, but don't have the time to like spend 2 hours a day making one graphic, where now they're able to make that graphic in 10 seconds and then move on and like keep kind of like working on their great ideas. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. But I think probably by the next time I'm on next week, it will be live.
That's gonna be sick. I'm so waiting for that, and I need like a 2-hour tutorial, probably even longer, like to go inside the mind of Dean right now, just to see like how you could really utilize this website. That's awesome. Super excited to see it. But let's talk some baseball. September's upon us, and this is where, the men are separated from the boys. And right now, I'm going to non-biasly, I think we have to start with the Yankees. The reason why I think that, Aaron Judge, he hits his 358th bomb as a Yankee, tied Yogi Berra for now 5th all-time on the Yankee list. So above him are the Ruths, the Mantles, Gehrig, and DiMaggio of the world. He could obviously get past DiMaggio because he's only 3 away from beating DiMaggio. Guys, do you think that Aaron Judge will ever break Gehrig's 493 career bombs with the Yanks? Because that's the next one on the list. That's why. I don't think he's going to get to Babe Ruth's 659, and Mantle's 536 seems like it's going to be pretty hard as well.
Yeah, I would think that he beats that 493. I think I view Aaron Judge as someone who's going to get 500 home runs. Obviously, he's 31, 32 years old, so he doesn't have probably around 8 years left in the league. I know that's I think around where his contract's going to end up to. I think Aaron Judge is one of those guys, too, where he could be even like a Giancarlo Stanton at the point where it's just his batting average may drop down to a 220. He may not be a great hitter when he's 37, 38 years old, but he's still going to have hit 30, 40 home runs a year just for how his body is. He's so big. He's going to be able to put the ball out easily with that size, especially playing in Yankee Stadium, too, if he hit it in the right spots at that ballpark. So I think he'll for sure be able to pass Lou Gehrig. Obviously, he has to stay healthy on the field. Obviously, we don't know how he's going to age and if his body's bringing it down or not. But I would say that you could probably look at him almost past Mickey Mantle at 536 and be second behind Babe Ruth with his 659 home runs.
He is, by the way, signed through 2031. He'll be 39 years old at the end of this contract. So that's, be it as it may, he's definitely aging. I just don't know. We don't know. It's hard. And we see these guys break down. I'm not rooting for that, obviously, but yeah, I think this was really cool. And then I wanted to talk a little bit because this one's a little sour spot, and I don't know how to feel about it. Dean, obviously, your team is the Red Sox. They're right now right behind the Yankees. They're tied with the Yankees in terms of games back on Toronto in the East, but both these teams are looking for wild card spots. Aaron Boone's at the UNC football game tonight, and the Yankees coming up now. They're going to Houston, and then they're going home against Toronto, home against Detroit, at Boston, at Minnesota, at Baltimore, home against the White Sox, and then home against the Orioles to close out the year. They got 25 games left. What do we think about Aaron Boone being out of I know his son is an offensive analyst for UNC. I get it. Do we think this is, should he have gone to this game? Especially because the college football season goes way past the Major League Baseball season where he can go catch games of him after the season. Am I wrong?
I mean, today's an off day. Today's an off day, though, right?
Today is an off day.
Yeah, I mean, like Alex Cora missed a game to go to like his daughter's like graduate, like an actual game to go to his daughter's graduation. I don't think it's a big deal for Boone to fly down to North Carolina to go to the game and fly back. Like when you have to, I think you have to think of it this way, Brett. Like they're so rich that they're probably flying private. And he's going at 6 o'clock at night, 5 o'clock at night to fly out of JFK or LaGuardia or whatever it might be. Are they home tomorrow?
No, they're at Houston. So he's going to fly from North Carolina to Texas.
Yeah. So like he didn't go with the team probably. So he probably flew from New York to North Carolina. He's going to fly to Houston tonight. And he'll be there by 1:30 in the morning and go to the hotel. I don't have any major problem with it.
Okay, maybe I'm overreacting.
If this is the playoffs, then that'd be a totally different story. But I mean, you started off the show with how great the Yankees are. So like, if they're so great right now, it shouldn't be that big of a deal for him going.
Yeah, I agree with Dean. Obviously, if it's a playoffs, it's a little bit different here. But also, it's not like it's a football game, whatever, where the guy's missing a game that's once a week like this, and he's out there calling plays. Baseball managers, they don't really do that much compared to any other normal coaches. Like, it's fine. You can have an interim manager for a game, even if he was going to miss a game, it'd be fine. Like, obviously, you brought up with Cora and how he did that earlier this year. I think it just kind of shows, too. I know that you having a contract here, you get paid millions of dollars. There's an expectation to be there every single day. But I got no issue with you leaving to go to your family. Honestly, just don't. You want to be there for events like this. That I know that baseball season's busy, and you gotta accept that when you're signing these contracts, and you have to accept you're gonna miss some things. But on an off day, I don't see why not. You can't go to this game.
Yeah,
Like, yeah,
I guess.
Brett, if he's just going down, like, I think it's just because it's a nationally televised thing. Like, you don't know what he's doing on a regular off day. You're just worried more about the optics of it because, like, baseball wise, I don't think that he's still getting done what he needs to get done in the past 24 hours. I don't think that changes.
Yeah, I guess the reason why I think it's big on like that their regular season is over in 25 games. Like I said, we got about a month left. The football season goes way past it, where it's like if you want to go, but I guess you're right. Like we don't know what he would do on a typical off day. So maybe it's just because it's televised and I'm making a big deal about it. But we could jump from the Yankees. Let's talk about Justin Verlander because in his last start, he just struck out 10 guys in 5 innings. So they won 13-2 against Baltimore. And this put at 42 years old and 192 days, Justin Verlander just became the oldest player to have double-digit strikeout game since Randy Johnson did it back in 2008. So right now, we talked about the all-time strike leaders list because Verlander.
Yeah, forget about that. Talk about how many pitches he had going into the 5th inning. What was it? Hagen.
I think he had 120 some odd pitches through 5.
Yeah, it took him 120 pitches to go through 5 innings. Like, I think at 42 years old and 100 whatever 69 days, whatever you just said, like, that's way more impressive than anything. I think he was like shooing the manager away when he came out to grab him.
Dude,
you're gonna ask Justin Verlander the great.
What was that? I was just gonna say we talked about it last episode about how crazy what he's doing at his age. Just like at 42 years old, you can't expect anything. I don't think anybody had on their book this year that a 42-year-old Justin Verlander was going to throw 120 pitches in a game.
No chance. I think him, obviously, Kershaw and Scherzer to a lesser extent, although he's still been solid. Kershaw, like I have Kershaw on my fantasy team. He's been like he only goes like 5 innings, but he's great every single time. We're blessed. Brett's gonna ask, is Justin Verlander the best pitcher of our generation? He's not. So we just move on from that.
Who do you have as the best pitcher from our generation?
It's probably Kershaw. Well, our generation, like, so here's the problem. Like, what are we defining as our generation?
Yeah, I get where you're going with this. Like, are we counting Clemens, Randy Johnson, and Pedro? Pedro?
Yeah. So like Randy Johnson and Pedro would fall under mine and yours generations. It wouldn't fall under Hagen. If we're talking like Hagen, how old are you?
I'm 21. So like my generation's the Verlander, Scherzer.
Yeah,
those are my like. I didn't see the Clemens and the Pedro.
So like Hagen, fine. Who's for you? Who's your pick?
I would probably go Kershaw. I think Verlander gets overlooked a lot in these discussions. Obviously, it's hard because I think they all have had such great peaks. Where obviously Verlander, back with these 2012, 2013, one of the great years he's had. Kershaw won an MVP. Scherzer was the best pitcher alive for a couple of years, and I have bias on this one. I think at their peak, I think DeGrom's the best pitcher this generation. Granted, you have to be able to do it for a whole. You can't just have 200 starts and be the best pitcher of the generation. At peak powers, I think it's DeGrom here, but over the career, whole body of work, which is what the question is, it's for sure. I think I got to go for sure Clayton Kershaw.
Yeah, you're totally biased there with the DeGrom, so we're just gonna ignore that. But this is, for those who are watching, this is where their baseball reference stacks up. Ironically, they have the exact same WAR. I don't really care as much about pitcher WAR, frankly, but Kershaw has done it in like 100, has the same amount of WAR as Verlander in 100 less games. He's got 2.52 ERA, 155 ERA plus, still over 3,000 strikeouts. So his K rate, 27%. So if we do the math, it's like nine Ks in a game or whatever that might be. Put that over 100, 900 more strikeouts. So if you average it out, he's better than Kershaw pretty much in every category. They both have the MVPs. They both have 3 Cy Youngs. They both have 2 World Series rings. So it is much closer than I think I realized. But I still go with Kershaw. I think Verlander too, just like the last few years, like I like when a guy stays with his team for his entire career. I like the fact that Kershaw has stayed with his team the entire career. I feel like with like Scherzer kind of came along too late in his, not too late, but Scherzer, I feel like developed a little later in his career than Verlander or Kershaw. But I always lean towards the guy that's been with his team, the same team his entire career. Verlander has gone from who is he pitched for at this point? Detroit
to Houston,
Houston,
to
Mets
New York,
to
to
Houston
Houston,
to
San
where?
Fran.
Giants. And then Scherzer has gone like Detroit,
He went
Nationals, Mets.
Arizona, Detroit, Nationals, Dodgers, Mets,
Yeah, I forgot about the Dodgers.
and then was this one
Rangers.
between? Yeah, Rangers, Blue Jays.
Blue Jays, yeah. So I go Kershaw. I could see how other people would go Verlander. DeGrom, shut up. He's been hurt half his career. It doesn't count.
To clarify, I said at peak powers, I think he was the best. He is not the best pitcher of this generation, though.
Fair.
Well said. Well said. No, that's a great discussion, for sure. Let's talk a little bit news and injuries happened this week. Corey Seager for Texas. He is undergoing an appendectomy, so there's no timetable for his return, making him the third all-star Texas Ranger to go down the last 2 weeks, likely for I'm not going to say his timetable, but we know Simeon's not coming back. We know Eovaldi's not coming back. The Rangers right now in the wild card are fourth, and they're 2.5 games back. So I think this might be the beginning of the end for Texas's season. I think that having Seager, Simeon, and Eovaldi all go down with 25 games left, it's just too much to overcome. But who knows? They were, obviously World Series champions 2 years ago. They definitely have talent. Let's see if DeGrom can will them, into the playoffs.
Did his appendix explode?
I have no idea. It just said he was. What'd you say again?
Appendicitis, which I believe that means it exploded. Correct?
No, you can have appendicitis. Well, you can have an appendectomy or appendicitis without exploding. I had an appendectomy prior to it exploding. If it's inflamed to a certain degree, they just cut it out. What I was gonna say is if it exploded, he's done. So my guess is it didn't explode because they're just saying he had abdominal pain. So that means they just kind of went in and they can do that with it's not as invasive. So
yeah, well,
maybe he comes back. My guess would still be probably not. Because minimum you're looking at, I think, like 2 weeks. So that brings you to what, 10, 12 games left in the season. And at that point, if they're out of the playoffs, I don't think they're going to rush him back.
No, there's no point in rushing them back. If you're a couple games back, I can see it. Obviously, you can go on a run there, and the Rangers as well. Like Brett said, they won a World Series a few years ago. They were in there, I believe. They were the 5th or 6th seed. They're one of those teams that knows you can just have to get in the playoffs, get hot at the right time. You can win it. It doesn't matter what seed you are. So I think if they are close, rush him back. But obviously, this is more in this case. It's more about the person and making sure he's okay and not getting anything. Because this guy's on a $300 million contract with this team. You care honestly more about his long-term success than you do for 20 games.
Yeah, I think you're both spot on with that. But it's, not fun stuff for Corey Seager. Hopefully he comes back 100% as soon as possible. Dean, I want you to walk us through this because we got 3 things going on with Boston this week that are pretty notable and wanted to throw in. Where do you want to start? Buehler, Chapman, or Peyton Toll?
We'll go in that order, I guess.
Okay, let's talk about Buehler. So Buehler got released, and then the Phillies picked him up. Did you think this was a mistake for Boston, or
not at all? Signing him was probably a mistake, and Will from Overdue Sports will disagree, but I was excited. Obviously, Brett, you and I have had Walker Buehler on our fantasy teams, and have always been thinking it's going to be his year. So I just loved also the Red Sox being somewhat active in the offseason, but he just hasn't been good. And if you watch his games, even the games that he's pitched well, he hasn't pitched well. And they moved him to the bullpen, and I was at one of the games when he was in the bullpen, and he just looked miserable. He just looked miserable. You could see he looked miserable. And I think this was partly okay, we want to bring up Peyton Toll, who's is it Toll or Tolley? I think it's Tully. This great young prospect of this Tully, right?
Correct.
Yeah. This great young prospect of this like nasty fastball, and also give Bueller the chance to like go to like a contender where he'll start and like eat up innings. So I have no problem with that. Personally, like I didn't like Bueller's the way he like conducts himself online and in interviews. It was always like, oh yeah, I freaking suck, man. Like, yeah, and then he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna I just never liked it. And I'm glad that he's gone in that sense. Moving on to Tully. You know me, I don't follow like college prospects very much. And he was only drafted last year, so I've kind of just followed him this year as he's kind of like skyrocketed through the farm system. So he's not someone that I've been sitting for the past few years, kind of like watching. His story is really cool. I think he like watching that game, he started to get a little too cute and went to his secondary pitches a little too early, especially when his fastball was just blowing everyone away. Andrew McCutcheon said as much after the game, where it was like, yeah, his off-speed stuff isn't that good, but his fastball is crazy. So I don't know. They were going to start him on Wednesday, and now I don't think they are. But it's more like just like the excitement of young players being added as pieces to this team. You look at Anthony, you look at Tully. That's really it right now, actually, because Maya's hurt. But they've completely changed the vibe that's going on. So that's exciting. And who's the last one? Chapman.
Yeah, and the extension.
Yeah, it's the 2026 extension with a mutual option for 2027. I think it's like a vesting option based on innings. I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that was what was reported. Do I agree with Aroldis Chapman off the field? No. Like, so it's one of those things where it's like, I don't like his past actions. But is he the best closer in baseball right now? Yes. Like, there's no arguing that. So he's got a 1.00 ERA. I think he's gone like 15 outings or 16 outings, so 46 batters in a row without giving up a hit. He's still throwing like 102. His off-speed stuff is much better than it was 10 years ago. What else do you want me to say?
No, just obviously for Boston, we know he's been the best closer in baseball right now, and you nailed it. Like, there's no arguing that. Do you like this for Boston more? Is like, do you like the money? I guess the 13.3 million.
Yeah, it's like nothing. Again, like this is what happens when you trade Devers away. You get flexibility with your money, and that's why they were able to sign Anthony, and that's why they're extending guys in the middle of the season, which we did not see in previous years. So I have no problem with it. If it was a 2-year contract, I'd be like, like he's gonna be like 39 years old. But it's a 1 year with like the vesting option. So it's like, if he's great next year again, then yeah, sure, bring him back again until he falls apart. But again, you have for the Red Sox, you have the 4th best offense in baseball, which is not talked about enough. Okay, they scored the 4th most runs behind. I think it's the Padres, Dodgers, and Yankees. Then it's the Red Sox. It's not that order, but it might be that order. They have arguably top 3 like they're 3-headed of Crochet, Bayo, and Giolito. Is like, who stacks someone up against that? Like, go give me another 3 guys that this season, forget about like past season, this season you want to go up against, or you don't.
I mean, if you just think since June, I don't know who would compete with that if there'd be anyone better, which is crazy because I never thought at the beginning of the year I'd be in a Lucas Giolito conversation on a big 3-headed monster. I thought it would have been in a DFA conversation with him, not Walker Buehler.
Yeah, I would agree with that, honestly. I especially with Giolito, like getting Tommy John and missing all last season, I thought, oh, he's going to be this year. But he's been superb. He's superb last year. Bayo had a bad game today, right? But he's still like, I don't know if you guys watched it at all. He still went 5 innings and got the win. and a year ago, he would have just completely imploded. But he gave up 3 runs in the second. He had like 67 pitches going into the 3rd inning, and he still went 5. So I think like he's matured both, like I think in the clubhouse, but also on the field, and in his personal life. Like Alex Cora talks about, he has kids now, so he's actually like waking up and like having more of like an actual schedule, and that's then translating to the field. But like, give me another 3 guys that you would put above those 3, like going into the playoffs. I guess Seattle
I was gonna say just because we're gonna talk about it in a second, but I'll bring it up now. So Houston, they got Luis Garcia Jr. back, and he went 6 innings, got the win, 6 strikeouts. He looked really good. He got a quality start. Houston's got Hunter Brown, and I'm trying to look who else would be their three. Christian Javier's back, but I don't know if I'd put him up there. And Framber. So I think Houston's got a nice 3-4, especially if Christian Javier returns to what he was a few years ago. And now Luis Garcia coming back. He looks sharp first start back. So Hunter Brown's
Okay,
been
fine. Sure, hypothetically, but the Red Sox, the Red Sox top three has been doing this since June. So go again. Give me another one.
No. I think you're with the season long because Philly, I can't argue now that Wheeler's out for the rest of the year. Who am I going to say? Sanchez, Nola, and Ranger Suarez.
Yeah, but Nola's been terrible.
Yeah, I know.
I think you got to put Seattle in there. I mean, Brian Wu is the definition of consistency this year. He's gone 6 innings every single start this year. It's exactly what you're going to get from every single time out there. Then you have Logan Gilbert, who's still trying to get things right, but I think down the stretch you feel comfortable. Obviously, he's looking a little better recently.
Yeah, he's
Kirby
great, though.
No,
and they have Bryce Miller back.
True. The funny part about this, and I'll conclude with Boston. We'll move on. In my last piece about AL X Factors, I put Walker Buehler being an X Factor for Boston, and that they would have a 4-headed monster. And then the next day they surprisingly DFA'd him, and I was like, "What the heck?"
Watch baseball. Yeah, it's a guy that doesn't watch baseball.
Oh my goodness, no, that was random, and you know it. You didn't expect Boston to let go of Walker Buehler then and there.
No, I did because I think Dustin May has way more electric stuff, and the bullpen is a top 5 bullpen in baseball. So if they wanted to bring up Tole, which I knew they did, like Buehler is the odd man out. You're also not gonna give up on Dustin May, who he has not looked good both starts. I saw him in person at Yankee Stadium, and he didn't look good the other day. Dustin May is like one of the few guys they got at the trade deadline, and they gave up Tibbs, who they got for Devers. It's like they're not going to give up on him yet.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Hey, again, just a little FYI, Dean has a hard-on for Dustin May and has for like years. It's not like random since Ball. It's been since LA days, before surgery and everything.
I mean, I think if you traded away the prospect you got back for Rafael Devers, I think you'd have to get a hard-on for any of the players you got returned for him.
Fair enough.
And real quick, while we were on with the Walker Buehler thing too, my big takeaway of him being DFA'd here was after the 2021 season, when he finished 4th in Cy Young Award, I think a lot of people talked about him as a top 10 pitcher in baseball. And this guy's a top 10 pitcher on the planet. And they were looking at, hey, could this guy be the Cy Young next year? Since 2021, after he finished that season, so since 2022, he has 50 starts. Only 252 innings, granted, because he had the Tommy John in there. But those last 50 starts he's had, he's a 5 ERA guy. He's 20% below league average from ERA plus standpoint. He's a negative 1.8 WAR in that time frame. Walker Buehler has been a very, very bad pitcher since 2022 now. And I just think that's kind of crazy to think when after 2021, we were all talking about him as the top 10 pitcher in the world. And every single year now, you're kind of waiting for him to turn around, but he really hasn't yet.
Yeah, he never recovered from Tommy John. That's what it is. Like some pitchers don't. He didn't. Yeah. Sorry, what was that?
I would say it's like the Matt Harvey thing. Like obviously we see some guys from Tommy John come better, but it's the Harvey where you get Tommy John and you're just never the same again.
Yeah, you get Jacob deGrom or you get Harvey and Buehler.
Yeah, and unfortunate right now for Walker Buehler, that being the case. But hopefully he rebounds in Philly. Let's talk about Toronto. So the Blue Jays claimed Isaiah Kiner-Falefa off waivers from Pittsburgh. So Kiner-Falefa was 81 appearances shy of a $250,000 bonus. And this move came right after the Pirates released Andrew Heaney when he was 8 1/3 innings short from earning a $100,000 bonus. So more cheapness coming out of the Pirates owner. I think it's Bob Nutting is his name. Really hate to see this. I think Pittsburgh definitely needs a call for new ownership there sooner rather than later. Wanted to talk about the Angels piece where their outfielder Taylor Ward, he was carted off the field and taken to a Houston hospital. He had stitches for a cut over his eye. He crashed in the left field wall. It was a scary scene. So hopefully he's all right. I do want to talk about the Cubs, though, and I want to get your guys' takes on this. So the Cubs right now, they're in the hunt right for a playoff spot. They claimed Aaron Savale off waivers from the White Sox, and they also signed Carlos Santana, who just was recently designated for assignment by the Guardians. Do you think these moves are enough for Chicago to contend in the playoffs? We know that pitching was the issue. I don't know why they need Carlos Santana with Michael Busch and the other spots they have for DH between Owen Casey and Moises Ballesteros. They could call him up from AAA. Do you guys think that this will help Chicago at all, or is this, not chalk?
I mean, I don't view Aaron Savali as anything more than a dude to just get a couple starts out of than DFA him. I would be honestly a little surprised if he stayed the rest of the season on this team without getting DFA'd. The Carlos Santana thing, obviously, I honestly didn't even realize how bad he has been this year. A 648 OPS this year, just awful offensively, honestly. He's been great defensively, as he always is, but I think this is more just you're getting a veteran in that locker room. Obviously, they got some young guys on this team. They don't have that postseason experience. It's not one of these old Cubs teams when they had the Bryant, the Rizzo, the Baez. They need some experience. You get a Carlos Santana in there who's, at worst case, he's a switch hitter. They can come off the bench late in games if you need someone like that who has postseason experience. He can play great defense if you leave him in the game. So just maybe catch lightning in a bottle here, and you get a crazy start from him. Because obviously, I think he would probably, Carlos Santana is enough of a vet to realize that, hey, my season has not been good this year, but I can really change that if I come to this new team here and I change things around in the last month of the season.
Well said. Cincinnati, they called up shortstop Sal Stewart. He's the number 4 prospect for the Reds and 86 overall in baseball. He had a run. He went 1 for 3 today, so we'll keep eyes on him. Hagen, let's talk about your boy now, Jonah Tong, in his MLB debut.
Yeah, obviously Jonah Tong made his debut. We talked about it last episode coming up. Top 50 prospect in baseball with Throwing Systems this year. He went 5 innings with 6 hits allowed, 4 runs, only one of them being earned, and 6 strikeouts on MLB debut. I caught the beginning of the game there. Obviously, nothing crazy. Obviously, 5 innings, 1 earned run is very good for your MLB debut. Kind of a crazy game, though, because his offense gave him like 12 runs in the first 2 innings. So he was sitting down. He had like 45 minutes between pitches between the first and the second inning. So it was kind of just a weird game, too. You didn't really have any flow from the beginning of the game. So it's kind of hard to get a true takeaway of what Tong's going to be. But obviously, you can see he has electric stuff. Obviously, the fastball is great. The arm angle is a little crazy to see for how low his head drops down. Obviously, all the stuff's been going around about it. It looks just like Tim Lincecum. But I thought he looked really good. I think he was attacking hitters pretty well. I didn't think he looked nervous at all. I think he's especially with like the Tully too and the McLean when they've come up recently. I think sometimes you see like the nerves in these guys in their debuts and stuff. But I feel like these rookie pitchers recently have came up there and they've really attacked hitters. They haven't felt like they're nibbling too much, and I feel like they just look like they're out there having a good time. I know Tong, even in his post game interview and before the game, he was talking a lot just like it's great to get an opportunity like this. Is my dream as a kid. I'm here to enjoy this moment. So I think it's cool to see them just, even if things aren't going well, if they had a bad pitch or whatever, that they're just out there having fun because they realize that this is just a little kid game and they're just all having fun doing what they wanted to do their whole life.
I think David Stearns is going to get a raise soon.
David Stearns is getting a step.
Yeah, he's getting a raise. Last thing that I want to talk about today, Dean, let's start with you on your thoughts on this. So the Guardians, we've all been paying attention to this over the last month or so. I think Luis El Ortiz kind of went under investigation first, followed by Emmanuel Clase. They're both, under suspension until further notice, while the league continues to look into their sports.
They're not suspended. I think they're on paid administrative leave.
Okay, so we talked about this, how bad, you are not guilty until proven guilty, and this is America. You are innocent until proven guilty here. We saw the pitches of what the MLB was investigating. We thought they were really, really bad. Dean, have you looked at all into this? And, do you think this is chalk, or what do you think is going to go on here?
I think they're probably. Do they ban guys anymore for this? I don't even know. Like, they didn't ban the minor leaguers. They banned the major leaguer that got investigated last year. But this is just going to continue to be an issue. Yeah, I think I don't know. They, like, what do you want me to say? You just said they're innocent until proven guilty. I think they did it.
That's fair. I set you up for failure there. My bad. I think your take on it, that this is going to continue to be an issue. I think that's better.
Yeah. I think it's going to continue to be an issue. I think it's inevitable. I think especially guys who Clase is a little different situation, but like Luis Ortiz, like, what was his salary? and like what were the prospects for him to like make money, like make a big
I
contract?
believe he
don't
was
know.
around like $850,000 when we checked when this first came out.
Yeah, like he could have like made that money just betting.
That's where it's different compared to him and Colossae, where it's obviously, yeah, that's a lot of money still. Obviously, that's not baking in taxes and what you're actually going to take home at the end of the day. But obviously, he's making a great living right now. Obviously, that's not guaranteed. We know a lot of baseball players, especially, can play a league for 3 or 4 years and then not be set up for life after that. Colossae is different because you have the millions of dollars guaranteed. I think that's more of just a what are you doing, man? That was kind of more of a dumb, if he's guilty there. Ortiz, you can see it more. I'm not saying he should have been gambling by any means here. I think it definitely was smart because there's so many different ways to bet on. I was watching some of the day. Foolish Baseball put it out. There was a game this last year where there was about 2,400 different betting props on one game. You can bet on 2,400 different things in a singular game now. So you got to think about how crazy it is. Where it's like their idea was probably thinking that these guys, we can go through and find this. There was one out of the 2,400 bets you can make. Let's bet money on this, and obviously you got flagged, but it's definitely not a good look, especially if it's going to get extended longer. I would assume. I just wonder why it does go longer. I wonder if it's an optics thing by any means. Just if they want to let the season end first. I don't really know why they would extend it though.
Why aren't they just extending it because the investigation is not over?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
I agree with Hagen. Like I believe that this got like flagged with like AI, and that's how they are investigating. It has to be because it's not going to be like a single person like looking at this. So I think it's just getting flagged with like AI software. So they probably have to take their time to make sure it's like they didn't fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, especially too. I think it got flagged just because they obviously know, these sports books know what money they're getting in on props. Where if there's a bet that seems very outlandish, obviously the same happened last year with the college baseball, the Alabama head coach, where it was like a $10,000 bet on a college baseball game, where they just get very unusual activity where it will flag it as that, and then they go and they look at it. And in this case, there was pitches where we don't know the amounts of, I don't know on my head, but obviously the pitches were spiked 15 feet in front of the plate, so then it looks even more suspicious.
Yeah, you shouldn't be able to bet on pitches. I mean, I don't know if you know my feelings on all of like the betting and I think that all of like the gambling being involved in all the sports is just a major problem. I think it's also just completely hypocritical based on like the stance that these sports had for the past like century, and then they get billions of dollars thrown in their face and they're like, never mind. I think it's just I think it's really difficult to expect, and I think it's going to change. Honestly, like this sounds terrible. I think it's going to change. I think over the next like 10 or 15 years, we are going to see some changes in sports and betting, and like when it comes to like the players, because you saw it with, or you've seen it with college sports, in terms of like what those players are allowed and not allowed to do. Obviously, it's very, very different. But I think 20 years ago, the idea of like an NIL and like players making money, college players making money off of themselves was, I mean, Brett, we used to argue about it all the time.
yeah,
and
we did.
I think I don't remember what boat I think you fell on the "it's never going to happen" boat.
I fell on I wasn't for paying it, and we don't have to go into that now, but like if I think there's balances to how it was done, if we were going to roll it out, but obviously it's right now the wild, wild west. And to your point, exactly 20 years ago, we would fight like cats and dogs about how this would pan out. And now we're in 2025 and look what we got.
I guess there's a world where I can see like, hey, if you want to bet on yourself to win, then like go ahead and do it. I could be completely wrong.
No, that would be wild. Like,
but I also don't see any problem with that. Honestly, like betting against yourself, obviously you should not be allowed to do. But like, what is wrong with like betting on yourself to win?
Yeah,
I mean, I think,
at the end of the day,
I think you're right, because you would do that because then you're showing that you're trying even harder. Then it shows more proof that you're trying to get the job done. But obviously, it just goes down a slippery slope of then you can't just be like, all right, well, you can only bet on yourself in this. It just gets too slippery of a slope there.
I think,
yeah, well,
like not to get corporate, but it's like kind of like where, for instance, my employer is an auditor company, like an audit company. So I can't have holding investment options of specific like companies if we're doing work there. I have to disclose that. And if I don't, I can get in trouble because if I know about internal finances or something through systems at my firm and I learned this about another, not only is my firm liable, I'm very liable. So I think it has something to go with those route, but I don't want to make this corporate. I think Dean, you bring up a great point. Like, what is the problem of betting on yourself?
It's probably never gonna happen, but I don't know. I just I think they've opened up this slippery slope, and they're gonna have to figure out a way, or they're gonna have to figure out something to do, because the way it is right now is obviously not going to work long term.
Agreed.
Especially as it becomes easier and easier and easier to gamble.
100%. If they just don't do anything about this, which it seems like they're probably going to try to just keep getting this money from these companies for a long time, it's just going to keep getting worse and worse. Because obviously we saw at the beginning of the year, it was like, wow, there was 6 guys who on the minor leagues were betting on baseball. And it felt crazy. And major league players bet on it. So it just kind of feels crazy. And it feels like it's just going to keep getting worse until a solution is really made.
Yeah. Well, we're at the 45-minute mark. Do you guys have anything else you want to talk about before I close this out of here?
Nope.
Okay.
I think I'm all good.
Word. Well, thank you for listening. Follow us on social media. Be sure to go grab your merch. Read some of the articles that have been coming out this week. Dean, I think you said it was our second best month website-wise ever this month.
We missed our best month by 1,000
views.
1,000 clicks. Yeah.
Yeah, 1,000 clicks. That's awesome.
Which again, our best month was June. So it's like we've had 2 of our. I think we're 3 for 3. Let me just look real quick.
Yeah. Point is,
I think we're 3 for 3.
We're growing. Check us out. Share us with your friends. And obviously our big Skipper's View announcement was earlier in the episode about Dean's website that's coming out. So go be sure to check that out when he pushes that out. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Outside of that, we're out. Bye.